Let's talk a little bit about real food today. What is real food? What does it mean, really? There's different ways to look at it, right? For example, we could talk about it from a biological kind of standpoint, which is what I typically have done a lot of in the past. Like, for example, what is the natural food for humans, for the human species, right? Looking at cows and horses, they eat grass, right? Looking at gorillas, they eat a lot of leaves, a lot of vegetation. Looking at lions, they eat meat. They're carnivores, specialized for eating meat. What about humans? Well, as I've talked about a lot in the past, humans are frugivores. Frugivores is a type of herbivore, which is again could be a type of omnivore. The truth is we are omnivores. We can eat a lot of different things and survive, but we're specialized towards plants as herbivores, and within that category again we're specialized specifically for fruit, tropical fruits. That's our species specific diet. So from a human perspective, what is real food? Well, fruit. Fruit is real food. Grass is not real food for humans. Meat, not real food for humans. We're frugivores. We're specialized to eat fruit. Yeah, some tender greens, some nuts and seeds, maybe even some termites. Those are sort of the different foods to which we are adapted to eating, but certainly fruit is really the main food for us. But there's other ways to look at the idea of real food as well. We could talk about real food as non-processed foods, so anything that's in its natural state. Of course, meat in its natural state is a living animal, so the only way to truly eat a whole food diet if you're eating animals is to literally grab animals and kill them with your hands and mouth, which of course makes no sense from a human perspective. We're obviously not adapted to doing that, which is again a sign that we're not carnivores. And you know, I'm here on La Palma now, one of the Canary Islands, and I'm eating a fruit-based diet, which is definitely based around a lot of fruit, mostly bananas, but I'm also eating some cooked foods, and obviously whenever you cook something, it's no longer whole, right? And I couldn't eat potatoes and sweet potatoes in their raw natural state. That wouldn't be possible for me as a human. So certainly I'm eating foods that are outside of my biological niche as ideal, but they nevertheless match fruit nutrition pretty well. Pretty benign foods, you know, cooked potatoes, cooked sweet potatoes especially. So certainly decent foods. And one of the things that I appreciate on this island, and I guess that's to conclude this video, and that's sort of what I was leading up to when I talk about real food. This island has real food, right? So when I go to the market, I was just back at the farmer's market now, there's potatoes there, right? Big boxes of potatoes, big baskets of potatoes, and all kinds of other foods. But the potatoes sort of stood out for me today. Looked at them, you know, they're full of dirt. They're fresh. They're literally right out of the ground. It's not like there's a big system on this island of how the food supply is. You know, even in Norway, when we're getting local food, you know, like local potatoes from our region or whatever, they're still going through the food system, and we're getting them in our normal supermarket in a plastic wrapper, and you know, it's sort of everything's very standardized. Whereas here, those people at the market selling their potatoes, they probably, you know, yesterday or the day before yesterday, or at most the day before that, they were like, oh, you know, it's almost Sunday, it's almost market time, we better harvest those potatoes. And then they all harvested the potatoes. The family got together, had a field day, literally, and just harvested all the potatoes and then bring them to the market and try and sell them there. So that's fresh, that's real food, right? That's another way of looking at it. It's fresh food. It's food that's directly going from the ground or from the tree to the consumer via just like no middlemen, just like the farmer basically. I guess the next level of that would be to truly grow your own food, right? If you really grow your own food, that's the realest it ever gets. Or I guess even next level would be wild food, right? Going around, but I don't see the point really in picking wild foods over cultivated foods. I don't see any big benefits there. I mean, if you're growing your own food, you have a fruit garden, even if you're growing potatoes or whatever. Having my own garden with trees, harvesting the fresh fruit, would be really cool. But nevertheless, I'm really happy with this level of food as well that I'm experiencing right now. Real food. Go to the market, there's the food. This is the farmer selling it right there and then. It's full of dirt. It's real. It's fresh. The papayas, the bananas. Why are the bananas so freaking amazing on this island? Sure, the soil is good, probably very good, right? Like volcanic soil if you take care of it, and it's pretty dry here, so you have to put a lot of water into it and probably a lot of compost to create organic matter. But the starting point is really mineral rich volcanic soil, so there's a lot of taste in the food here, really good quality, and the sunshine is strong. So that's certainly one of the factors why the fruit and the bananas are so good compared to Norway, which are coming from Costa Rica. But the main thing is the freshness, you know. The main thing is that when I'm eating a banana here in La Palma, it's probably picked yesterday or last week or last month. No, not last month, that would be too far away. Like probably most of my bananas are picked like 2-3 weeks ago, right? And they're allowed to ripen. The farmer knows that these bananas are going to be sold on the island or close by, so there's no need to sort of harvest them super early. In Costa Rica, they know these bananas has to last 3 months to go get across the Atlantic Ocean to head to Norway and other places. They have to harvest them way early, keep them cold storage, green, and then ripen them with ethylene gas, which is fine. It's just a hormone stimulating the ripening process, but nevertheless, they're picked so early and they're so old when we eat them in Norway that's a certain level of real food gone, you know. Whereas here on La Palma, it's fresh, it's ripe, it's real, you know. So anyway, that's just what I wanted to share today. I feel excited about the food here in La Palma, whether it be potatoes or bananas or anything else really. It's quality, it's rich in taste, super nutritious. I am certain of the fact that I'm getting a better diet, nutritionally speaking, here in La Palma than I am in Norway. Doesn't mean that I don't like Norway. I love Norway for a lot of other reasons than the food. And sometimes we get really good food in Norway too. You know, again, it comes down to whether or not something is in season locally and you can get it fresh. So fresh food, whole food, as Doug Graham says, whole, fresh, ripe, raw, organic plants. Whole, fresh, ripe, raw, organic plants. That's like Doug Graham's slogan or whatever, right? And it's so true. You gotta have it whole, you know? Real food is whole. If you can't eat it whole, it's probably not human food. Fresh, as I just said, super important. Ripe, it's gotta be ripe if you wanna eat it. Learn more about how to know when your banana is ripe by checking out the Little Banana Book. It's a book I wrote about bananas. Whole, fresh, ripe, raw. Raw is best. Raw is law. Every animal in nature eats raw. Raw is the best. But cooking some sweet potatoes, in my experience, no big deal. No big deal at all. Still up there as almost perfect, ideally speaking, nutritionally speaking. Whole, fresh, ripe, raw, organic, clean food. No pesticides. Doesn't mean certified organic necessarily, because they also have pesticides. But just means clean. And how to know if it's clean, well, that's difficult. That's for another video. Whole, fresh, ripe, raw, organic plants, fruits and vegetables. That is the law, that is the rule, that is pretty simple. Just keep it plant-based, high in fruit, high in carbohydrate, moderately low in fat, and focus on that freshness and that ripeness. Thanks for watching. Just checking in with you guys from La Palma. Hope you have a good day. Let me know in the comments if you are able to get anything really fresh and high quality from where you're living, whatever it is. Is there a particular time of year maybe where you're able to find it? Tell me all about it in the comments. Subscribe to this channel, of course, if you haven't done so already, and stay tuned for more videos. See you around.